Welcome everybody to the first ever Clinton Community College Dungeons and Dragons faculty staff learn to play. We're going to start by letting the players introduce themselves, what they do for the college, and who they will be playing tonight. And we'll start over here with our halfling.
Hi, my name is Rob Shudd. I am an academic advisor here at Clinton Community College, and the character I will be playing tonight is Welby, the halfling rogue.
Hi, my name is Gina Bilski, and I am a public speaking instructor here at Clinton Community College. I'm the communication department coordinator and the Phi Beta Kappa advisor. I will be playing Althea, who is an elf wizard.
Hello, my name is Bray Teisel. I'm a nursing instructor here at Clinton Community College. Tonight I will be playing a dwarven cleric.
Hi, I'm Gabe Knight. I'm the Dean of Instruction here at Clinton Community College, and tonight I'll be playing Salazar, a human fighter.
And my name is Matthew Endress. I am also an academic advisor here, but kind of the hat that I am wearing tonight is that I am the Gaming Guild Advisor. The Gaming Guild is a very popular club here on campus, and tonight's session kind of flips the script, right? A lot of times when we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, it's going to be students playing the game. Tonight we thought it might be interesting if we had some of their teachers and their staff play Dungeons and Dragons. So that's what hopefully you tuned in for tonight. Just a couple of bits of house cleaning. There will be an opportunity to participate a couple of times throughout the game. If you head over to menti.com, that's with an I, and enter the code that you'll find in chat, there will be a couple of polls that you'll be able to participate in the game. We set up a poll that's probably going to happen a little later in the stream, just so that everybody could kind of get that set up and get used to that. You will also be able to vote at the end of the stream for the coveted Most Valuable Adventurer Award, which I know our participants today are very excited to compete for. So high stakes tonight in today's session. I will be the Dungeon Master. If you haven't played D&D before, I'll give you a brief summary. The 4 players will be representing their individual selves, their individual characters in the game, and I will be representing basically everything else. So I'm going to describe the environment, I'm going to describe the other characters they might find, maybe the enemies they might find, and that'll be kind of the role that I'm taking on as the Dungeon Master. So I wanted to briefly talk about the material we're using for the game, which is adapted from the starter kit for Dungeons and Dragons. So if you want to try out an adventure kind of like the one that we're playing tonight, you can buy the Dungeons and Dragons starter kit and give it a try at home. This is a kind of an abbreviated version of some of the material because we're going for about a couple hours tonight. And the kit comes with many more adventures than we're going to be able to cover tonight. We've also adapted the material a little bit for the sake of brevity and some other reasons. So if you're already very familiar with the starter kit, which I know some in the audience are, it might be a little different than what you're used to. I want to set the scene for where we're beginning the game, which we've played out one scene to get everybody kind of familiar, since many of our players, this is their first time experiencing D&D. And in that scene, the party, which had been hired by the cousin of our dwarf, Colby, to escort a wagon, they came across a set of dead horses in the road. And they were terrified to find out that those dead horses belonged to Gundren, the cousin of our dwarf in our party. And they have followed a goblin that ran away from the dead horses down a trail, and they have come across what they believe to be the hideout of the enemies. And so we will be picking up today's action with a scene that begins outside of what they believe to be a hideout. It's a cave, and that's going to kind of give you a little background. So they're looking for Gundren, the missing dwarf, who is their quest giver and also the cousin of one of their party members, and they're thinking perhaps he got brought to this cave. So we're going to start there. you have followed this trail for about half a mile. And the trail, it looked at first like a game trail, something cut through the forest by animals. But it became apparent as you went a little bit further down the trail that it was trafficked not only by animals, but also goblin feet. And also you saw several wolf tracks along the way as well. And as you approach the entrance to the cave, you can see a few things. First of all, the cave entrance appears to be lit inside with some sort of fire source, perhaps signifying someone or something is inside. And you also, as you approach, see several trees that have little stands in them as if they're like outposts or like guard towers. And to kick things off, I want everybody to make a perception check as you approach the cave and what you see kind of outside of the cave. So let's see a set of perception checks out of the party. So for the viewers at home, they're all rolling a 20-sided die, and they are adding a number on their character sheet to that. So I'll just call out your character name, and then you tell me what you got. So let's start with Welby.
16.
16, all right. Althea?
19.
19, all right. Salazar?
12.
And Colby?
16 plus 3, 19.
Oh, boy. Okay, good rolls all around. So the three of you, sorry, Salazar, the three of you, as you approach, you don't really see anything, but you do hear something, right? It's actually coming from above you. You hear what sounds like snoring. And it seems to be coming from up in the trees.
Okay, so we're looking up in the trees. Is there a stand up above us?
Yes, there is a crude wooden platform. You think, based on your previous encounter with goblins, that it's probably of goblin craftsmanship. It's essentially a piece of a board like tacked to the tree. And actually, as you look up, you see a little goblin body asleep on the stand, and he's kind of moving around a little bit.
We should hit him with the magic missile.
No, let's take them out.
Okay, so you guys are going to kind of approach up in the tree.
We're gonna approach, yeah.
So right as you get close to the tree, he seems to kind of wake, and he jars up and falls out of the tree and lands on the ground in front of you, and I'm going to have him take some damage. All right, and jarred awake from his fall, the goblin opens his eyes, and he immediately stands up, apparently unbroken by the fall, and he starts yelling in a language that you recognize is goblin, "Briark! Briark! Briark!" And you know that means, "I surrender."
Oh.
And he's got his hands up, and he's like looking around, and you can tell he's quite terrified of the fearsome adventurers here.
So I'd like to speak to him in Goblin,
Okay.
and I would like to ask him if he knows the whereabouts of our friend Gundren.
Okay. So he'll respond in Goblin, but just for the sake of the party, I'm going to translate into English here. He says, "No hurry! I not tell you everything! I don't know Gundren! I don't know Gundren!"
So what lies in your cave? What lies beyond the opening of your cave?
Ooh, in the cave is the biggest of bosses. He squishes your head. His name is Clark. He's like looking around. Are you companions of Clark? Mostly he has bigger ones that follow him around. I've only seen those in goblins.
Do we lie and say
Oh.
we know him?
You are Welby.
Uh,
You're the rogue.
So obviously, he's supposed to be guarding. and
He's
gonna do a
guarding
very
it,
good
right?
job of
Yeah.
I think we ought to waste him and charge the cave.
Could we put a frozen spell on him or something? Or
Maybe we take a hostage.
He does, he's technically armed. You see that he has a small little dagger on his belt. You can actually see on his back, he has another scabbard, which looks to be for a sword, but there isn't a sword in it. So he's looking around. You can tell he's quite intimidated by you. And he says, I'll tell you everything. What do you want to know? Let me go.
do you know anything about the dead horses on the road?
I didn't kill them.
Did your fellow goblins kill them?
I don't know anything about dead horses. I won't make you guys make a check, but you think he's lying. Those weren't your horses, were they? I never even seen a dead horse before.
I think you're lying.
I'm not lying. Who said anything about dead horses?
Was there a person riding on the horse?
Well, if there was a horse, which there wasn't, but if there was a beard guy, not a man, a beard guy like him. And he points to Colby.
Sounds like you're speaking of our friend Gundren. If you don't tell us of his whereabouts, then we're going to have to take your life.
Look, I'll tell you, but you better not tell Clark. You know what Clark will do if he finds out?
He'll squish your
Squish
head.
your
He'll
head.
squish my head. Look, I'll tell you if you don't tell Clark. And let me go. Okay? Deal? Is that a deal? Do we have a deal? I go, no tell Clark.
Okay.
Okay. The big beard man, he's inside the cave. Okay, I go now.
Who all's in the cave with him?
Well, there's Clark. I told you about him. Clark. Then, there's Clark. He has a doggy. That one's Kibbles. That one's there too, Kibbles. Then, and you see he's like trying to count, but his math skills don't seem super strong. And he says, and then many other goblins. You know that the goblin numbering system goes to about 3, and then it's like many. So you think it's probably 3 or greater.
Okay. What time do goblins go to bed?
Not right now. It's the middle of the day. I was not asleep, if that's what you're implying. Don't tell Clark I was sleeping.
Do you
And
have any of
so,
the wine?
The wine? What wine? I never found a wagon or any horses. You know he's lying, Lisa. So what would you guys like to do with this poor little goblin? Seems like a deal has been made.
I think he's told us what we needed to hear. Are there any other questions?
I think we need to make sure he doesn't run back into
Tie him and gag him.
Yeah. Do we have anything that can
Hey, you guys have some
detain
rope.
him? We have some rope?
yeah, I think we should tie him up.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna like hold him down and tie him up, like
Uh-huh.
tie his hands behind his
Uh-huh.
back?
Yep.
Okay. As you start to tie him up, he says, that wasn't the deal. You said I could go.
Oh.
Why you tie me up? You said I could go. I told you, didn't even kill the horses.
Well, we don't know if we believe you or not.
From inside the cave, you hear a
Kibbles hears us.
and he's bound now. You guys want to like put him off to the side or something?
Yeah. Let's put him off to the side and approach the cave and peek
Yeah.
inside and see what we see.
I think we should tie him up to one of those pillars.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you got plenty of rope, so you kind of tie him up. you notice as you start to walk towards the cave that he just starts screaming bloody murder. And he's just like making a ton of noise, mainly about how you guys can't be trusted and how you broke the deal and how he had made a deal fair and square and you guys had violated the terms of it. Although that's not verbatim what he says.
It says I have a crowbar. Can I just knock him out?
Sure. So I won't make you make a roll for that. So you just kind of walk up and like, boop, and he says, "No, hurry!" and then just kind of goes out. But you think he'll be okay later.
Yeah.
His brain doesn't seem any more damaged than maybe it was. Okay, so having dealt with this vigilant guard of the cave entrance, you now are faced with the opening of the cave. It goes deeper in than you can really see, and you can tell that it bends off to the right, deep inside the cave. You can tell that there are a couple of light sources, torches, that are mounted on the walls deeper into the cave. And you once again hear that howling sound coming from fairly close inside of the cave, but you don't see the source of it. So what's next?
Can we take one of the torches off the wall to help us light the way?
Yeah, they're deep in the
They're
cave.
deep in the cave.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have to enter the
We have
cave.
to enter the cave.
You guys do have your own torches if you want to light those. We have two members of the party whose vision isn't the greatest in the dark.
Right.
Although the dwarves and the elves do have dark vision and are able to see in the dark.
I think at this point, we shouldn't probably have any light source. They should just maybe follow, put their hand on our shoulder and follow us so we can see. That way we're not
Okay.
a big distraction.
And I can throw my light spell on something.
Yeah, you can like
Hide
test
it
it on
for
a
now.
rock or something, yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. My light spell.
Okay. And you just want to hold
On
it?
a rock. I will put it in my pocket or in a pouch or something for
Okay.
now.
Okay,
since
just
the
to like
plan is
have
to
it
stay.
around.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys can see the people who have trouble with the dark can see enough to kind of find your way. It's very shadowy and you actually think that it's kind of prime sneaking sort of environment. But you guys are all kind of walking into the cave, is that right?
Yes.
Let's hear a little bit about the order that you guys are marching in the cave. So who's kind of in the front, who's kind of more in the back?
Mm.
Say cold.
I'll go up front with the warhammer. My
Okay,
warhammer.
I've got the great axe.
okay. So the
So I can either go-
two bruisers are up in the front with their weapons drawn. And maybe the not as prowess in combat are going to be a little more in the back. Okay. So as you walk deeper into the cave, you can see that the torches are mounted kind of up on a walkway that curves around and off to the right, and it's beyond where you can see. And immediately inside the cave, also off to the right, is another small passage, and that's where you can hear the sound of the animals coming from. And it sounds like more than one animal.
Den of wolves. Didn't we see
It
wolf-
sounds like it, yeah.
Didn't we see wolf tracks?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did see wolf tracks.
Okay.
So that's maybe about 20 feet up off to the right. And then the cave continues going deeper and up around. So let's hear about how you'd like to approach, or what you'd like to do about these potential wolves.
We have 2 paths and 4 people. Should we split? Two people go down one path?
So the cave, the den for the wolves is kind of near, and then it keeps going straight and beyond. So if you split up, it'd be like somebody goes to the near place and then the rest keep going forward.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
And obviously, the wolves must work with the goblins that are in there. Is that what they are, goblins?
Mhm.
Presumably, yeah. Your
And the
your
bugbear.
vigilant guard thought there were some goblins in there.
So we need to decide if we want to take care of them now.
We need to take care of them because they'll be behind
Yeah,
us.
and they'll follow us or they'll see us.
Although when we fight them, we probably will get the rest of them coming after us.
Uh-huh.
So do you guys all want to kind of keep going as a group up to like where you can hear the activity?
Yeah.
I think we should do that.
Okay. So as you keep going down the path and getting closer to the source of illumination, you see off to the right a small kind of cavern, and there's sort of an upcline, like almost a stairway sort of thing going up to it. And in that room, there are 3 wolves that appear to be chained to a post in the ground. And as soon as you all kind of come up there, you see them like sniffing the air, like they can tell you're there. And then they start yipping out and barking and making a lot of noise.
Mm.
Beyond the wolves, you can see is a kind of pile of rocks, and it looks like it actually goes up, that there's almost some kind of like chute that goes up through the ceiling. And there's a pile of rocks at the bottom of that. That's behind the wolves. And the wolves are chained to a post, and they're all kind of like scrambling, trying to like get you off of the post. The chain is short enough that they can't get you now, but it does look like they're struggling against the post. How would you like to handle this?
So is there anything else in the room besides the dogs and the pile of rocks?
There's quite a few wolf droppings and some rocks, but no.
I'll hit one wolf with a sacred flame.
Okay.
Now, that is they have a saving throw on that?
Yes.
Or I have to roll a hit?
I think it's a saving throw. Do you have the spell open, right?
I did.
Oh, no, yeah, it's a dex saving throw. I got it. Okay, so the wolf fails his saving throw, so go ahead and give me
1d8?
Yes. So you see Colby materialize a bright, radiant ball of sacred fire, and he projects it, kind of throws it underhand like a softball of fire right at this poor, unsuspecting wolf.
It's a 4.
Okay, so it catches the wolf kind of right in the face and the chest, and he yips and rolls backwards and is very scalded by the radiant light. And his companions kind of look at you and see what happened, and they all kind of back off a little bit. They're kind of like looking around like they're not sure what to do. And the poor injured wolf starts kind of balling up and licking himself. He seems to still be okay, but he's injured.
Good move, Colby.
Yeah.
So they're still kind of like looking around. Do you want to do anything else with the wolves, or?
No. As long as they're quiet, I think we can move on.
Is there anything we can do to like make them quiet, or are they like, or like become friends with them so they won't?
You could try. So there is a skill called animal handling. If you had perhaps some food, you might be a little more good at that. You have good old trail rations with you. Maybe not the most savory snack for a wolf, but it might do in a pinch. So who wants to feed the wolf?
Well, I will probably have to step back.
Yeah, there's enough room kind of at this entrance, about 10 feet, so like a couple people could stand up there. When you walked up to cast the sacred flame, you kind of stood at the edge of where you thought the chain was.
Okay.
Somebody who wants to be the
I'll
feeder?
feed it. I'll feed one.
And you're going to
Feed
use the trail rations?
The trail rations. Are they
okay.
my own?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the trail rations consist of various dried meats and what amounts to hardtack. And you have the good sense of perhaps floating the hardtack in your water skin for a bit so it isn't just a hard rock. And you kind of walk up cautiously, and let's see an animal handling check from you. So that's a skill.
All right. So I rolled a 20, excited.
Yep, and add your animal handling
Oh,
skills.
16 plus 1, 17.
Nice, okay. So at first, the wolves, having seen what your companion did to them, seem a bit cautious, but the smell of the dried jerky is irresistible. And they cautiously step forward, and one of them actually takes the jerky right from your hand, and you're able to kind of put the food out in front of them, and they all still on their chain, kind of calmly, and then with more enthusiasm, eat up the food. You can tell from how they have to gnaw on the hardtack that it's probably going to be a little while for them. In addition to this, I'd like to give you a perception check. So could you make a perception check for me, please?
Sure. Ooh, 17 plus 3, 20.
Nice. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that beyond the wolves, there's a pile of stones and kind of a hole that goes up into the ceiling. You actually hear a voice coming from up there. And you're the only one that hears it, but I'll just tell you what you can hear it saying. In a common, unlike the goblin communications earlier, so kind of the English of this universe, you hear it saying, "Scratch my back a little higher up, or else I'll squish your head." And it's a very deep voice and a very angry sounding voice. And it continues to narrate the correct location to scratch the back. And you can hear that voice coming from up, kind of like a chimney sort of thing. It's like a tunnel that goes up, and there's some rocks kind of on the ground. This is all past the wolves. You think you could maybe walk up a little bit closer now that they're a little calmer, but it's kind of further in the room.
So this is not a passage we can walk up to get to where that voice is coming
It would
from.
definitely be a climb, because it's pretty much straight vertical up.
My stealthy little character, like, wedge himself up in there,
You could try.
because I have rope.
Yeah, so,
50 feet of rope.
So you want to walk past the wolves then?
How well these.
And you guys are all going to kind of just watch him and like stay by the wolves to make sure they
Yes.
don't do anything. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So while you can walk up to the chimney, and it's actually fairly narrow. And so your little body, you think you could basically just like put your hands and arms on the side. And you remember from many times breaking into homes that you can climb up and down chimneys very well. And this reminds you quite a bit of a chimney. If you do want to climb up, though, I'm going to require an acrobatics check. Okay. Ooh,
Uh, 5 plus 5.
10.
And,
Okay. So you start to climb up, and you're kind of doing this like shimmy sort of thing, and you get a pretty good handhold, and you're like about to reach for another one, and you hear the voice continue to say, "Hurry up and bring me another bottle of that good tasting liquid. Scratch my back." And it's another kind of mean sounding voice, the same one presumably that was heard later. And as you reach to get your next handhold, it crumbles and you slip and fall down and hit the ground. And you're going to take a minor amount of damage from the fall. You take 3 damage, so subtract those from your hit points. And perhaps more catastrophically, as you fall, the parts of the chimney crumble and land on the ground with this like sound, and the voice that is yelling up above just stops suddenly, and you start to hear footprints coming that way towards the hole.
it's a bad idea.
So should we hide? Duck
So,
down?
so right now you're like laying at the bottom of the chimney, like looking up.
So I need to like roll out of there fast.
Okay, so you kind of roll out of the way, and you hear a voice this time much closer and more immediately yell something in Goblin, which only you can understand. And it's a command to stop fooling around with the dogs. And then this voice kind of yells that down. So you don't understand what it's saying. It's something in Goblin. And then you hear him and spit, and you see this like nasty loogie hit the ground at the bottom, presumably from the bad guy up top.
So he's not on to us.
He seems to think that it is his insubordinate goblins, whose heads he will presumably smash later.
Yeah.
So he kind of stands there for a second, and you think maybe he's like listening down there, and then you hear him kind of walk back to wherever he was before. So you're kind of at the bottom of the hole. The wolves are still eating. Would you like to try to climb up again, or maybe find another path?
Yeah, I'm done with climbing. More concept.
I think we should continue on the path that's past the wolves.
Okay.
Go back up and around, keep going around.
Okay. So as you kind of walk past the wolves, they're continuing to eat. They seem to have calmed down a fair amount, thanks to the delicious treat of hardtack. And they kind of, as you continue down the path, you see those torches mounted up on the walls. And near the torches, you can see little cutouts in the walls. Looks like little standing places. And in one of them, you see a goblin leaning against the wall like this, and he's asleep. And he's kind of up in the air, standing in this thing. It's not immediately clear how he got up there. He doesn't seem to see you because he's asleep.
So should we continue to just
I think
We want to try to
continue.
sneak past him, or
Yeah,
no?
I think we try to sneak past him.
Yeah, try to sneak past him as quietly as possible.
Okay, so now as you come across that turn that I talked about before, it becomes kind of a set of steps. And it kind of splits off as there's a small body of water that runs along the steps. And as you keep going up the steps, the water is down below. So you're kind of getting above the water. The water also seems to be expanding and getting bigger as you keep going. So it looks like this was built as a way to kind of get past this little underground stream. That seems to wrap all the way up and around. And it looks like maybe on the other side of that, it connects to where that little porthole was at, where the goblin was at. You can also tell just from broad geography that if you keep going enough that way, you're going to maybe end up to where the top of that chimney is. You guys want to just keep walking here?
Let's proceed.
Okay. So this area kind of narrows into single file. So are we going kind of roughly the order we had before?
Yeah.
Sure. I think so.
Okay, so who's in front?
Sounds like Kobe.
Right in front.
Okay. So as you continue up the stairs, one of the stairs kind of gets loose, and it's kind of just a rock is sitting there, and it kind of wobbles underneath you. And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. So you guys see your companions. You're all kind of narrowly single file going up, and Colby kind of steps on something, and he's like, "Whoa!" and he's about to lose his footing.
Oh, a 1. Oh, no. And I got a -1 too. So 0.
Okay, so 0. All right, so Colby actually falls. He goes, it's like banana peel. He just like whoops, and it falls backwards, and he actually falls down into the water below with a loud splash. You're going to take a very minor amount of damage from that fall. 2 damage. And perhaps more importantly, you're in the water and a light current is kind of pushing you towards the cave exit. And to the horror of your companions, they now kind of are like looking down. It's about 10 feet down to where you fell. You don't really have a whole lot of risk of drowning despite your heavy armor because the water is so shallow, even with your short stature. It's more just a major inconvenience that's pushing you back this way.
Is there anything I can grab a hold of, get out of there?
Yeah, so there's some branches as well as like some rocky bits, so you can like hold on. You kind of get control of yourself. It looks like you could maybe swim out, or you could try to like climb up the side. The water gets progressively shallower as it keeps going the way you're pushed.
Okay, I'm gonna swim out.
Okay.
How far is that from?
From where you're at to the
Yeah.
exit? It's like 20 feet.
And then I could try to get back to the stairway. that
Yeah,
we're
just
on?
it would kind of exit back to about where
Well,
the
that's
walls
what
were.
I'm trying to do.
Okay, this isn't going to be hard to do, but I'd like to see an athletics check
Okay,
as you swim in armor.
I do have a +4 on that. 8,
Okay, so
12.
12 total. Okay, so it's kind of a dog paddle sort of thing. You have to do it first, but eventually you get your feet kind of solidly on the ground, and the whole time you're kind of stabilizing yourself with the rocks, and you're able to kind of get back up onto the land where that was. What's everybody else doing as you kind of watch your poor dwarf buddy just like flounder in the water here?
Yeah, I was looking to see if I had any spells that could help him.
Well, you could mage hand to manipulate rocks or something,
Okay.
or like with a rope or something, your mage hand could grab it.
Okay.
Is that a cantrip or?
It is.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do a mage hand to help with creating rocks that he could easily climb up.
Okay.
To be back with us.
So it's only as Kobe reflects on the moment that he realizes that maybe his skill in grabbing the rock was assisted by your magic. It wasn't really his dwarven rocky prowess as much as the fact that you basically gave him a life preserver. But he is able to kind of get himself out of the water, and you're all kind of watching him like wipe his armor off and wring the water out of his beard.
I'm nervous about that goblin that we walked tiptoed past.
Okay, so you want to check out what he's up to?
Yeah, I want to kind of sneak back down to see what he's
Okay. Give me a stealth check as you sneak in the back. So you're in the back of the party, I believe, right? So you two are in the middle.
Right.
Now Kobe is coming back up, and he's in the back of the line.
Okay, so I got a 12 plus 7.
Okay. So yeah, you feel like you're being really quiet and sneaky. Do you want to climb up there, or are you just like trying to kind of peer up there?
So I just want to make sure he's still like sound asleep.
Okay.
Woken
So you're just trying to kind of look up there.
Yeah, I guess so.
So since there's a torch right there, it's not too hard to see. Actually, there's no one in the cubby.
Oh, no. Ruh-roh.
So Colby is coming back up the stairs right now. And unfortunately for you guys, Colby isn't exactly the quietest as he walks up these stairs. So you hear him coming in his now wet armor with clang, 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 clang in his armor coming up the stairs.
So we should go back and meet Kobe as he's coming up, just
Okay.
in case.
So I kind of regroup.
Yeah, regroup and go back and meet up with Kobe.
Okay. And then are you still trying to like sneak somewhere? Or are you just gonna like regroup with the?
So I've kind of gone back away from the main group a little
Yeah,
bit.
closer to where Colby's at down the stairs.
And I'm like shocked because I'm like, oh no,
Uh-huh.
he's gone. Where did he go?
Yep.
So I think I'm going to need to warn them.
Yeah.
Okay. How?
But do I warn Colby or the other two? Because they're at two separate directions.
Yeah, your other companions are maybe 10, 15 feet up the way. I mean, you could just yell to them if you wanted to, but maybe you don't.
I don't know. I don't want to draw even more attention.
So
Can I
Colby now approaches and meets with you
Can I do a perception check
to see
if I can determine what Welby's seeing?
which well.
What,
What he's
what
seeing.
he's seeing?
Sure, yeah, I'll give you, actually, I'd rather see insight.
Inside.
Because you're kind of reading the emotions on Welby's face.
Yes.
So let's see insight.
Okay. Oh. 1 + 2.
Okay, you think that Welby's very excited to meet up with Colby again. You don't think there's anything wrong. Everything seems okay. You think he's very excited to be reunited with his dwarf friend. So Colby and Welby are now together, and are you guys headed back up with the rest of the group? You guys are only
Yes.
about 10, 15 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys are kind of all near each other now. Do you want to just tell them discreetly now that you're close to them?
Yes.
Okay, and you just tell them.
I kind of like, let's,
Okay, and you're gonna.
he's gone.
Okay, so now that everybody has that information, is there something you want to do differently? Your estimate is that you're about halfway up the curve. You're getting higher, and the water is still kind of down here, but you're getting higher up. And you think that it's going to bend all the way around into some bigger opening up there. You're not sure if there's any sort of light up that way. It looks like the only light source you've seen are those 2 torches that are mounted on the wall.
And we passed those.
Yeah. Yeah, those are behind you at this point.
I would say they know we're here, so stealth is worthless.
Okay.
Take the light out and just head up the stairs.
Okay. So you're gonna
That's
get
what-
your.
That's what I'm saying, let's do. I'm
you're gonna get your
pull my light
flashlight.
out, yep.
Okay. And then are you going in the front again? Or are you guys gonna switch spots? Or?
Am I able to see in the dark with his
Uh,
light out?
yeah,
his
With his
light
light, I can
Who's
see
got a
it.
higher dexterity than me?
I've got, my dexterity is -1, my strength's +5.
Ooh.
Athletics.
So Colby's leading with the light, right?
Yeah, I think so. So you're leading,
Yeah,
and then so 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Okay. All right. So yeah, you guys keep going up the bend, and you hear the voice, the same voice you had heard from up the chimney. This time, shout, "Well, go check out what it is then. It sounds like some of those, whatever they're called, got in here again. I don't want them eating all the food." And he's saying it in common. Then you hear footsteps coming your direction. Definitely smaller creatures than the source of that voice.
And so the goblins are on their way. We're
Yep.
gonna need them in the stairway.
Yeah, and you're kind of just coming around the bend. You can tell that the room you're about to go into opens up. It's a much bigger cave. So you're basically about to turn into this big cave, bigger opening cavern. Anything you guys want to do to prepare before it seems like the inevitable confrontation?
I'd like to use my mage armor, please.
Okay.
And
I can use a bless.
Sure. Okay, so you cast a spell that kind of coats the outside of your robes and your skin with this sort of effervescent, kind of bubbly light that is strong and hard around you. It actually kind of reminds you of the holy light that glowed from his sacred flame. And then you will say the ritual of blessing for your dwarven god, which actually helps out your companions as well, as they are familiar with the dwarf religion that you are subscribing to. So they feel very blessed. So you're concentrating on that spell now, so it lasts only a certain amount of time. So if you guys are going to engage them, you probably want to do it soon before this blessing, which you know is short-lived, expires.
Okay.
Unless a minute, is that right?
It's a 1d4.
Yeah, but they roll it whenever they
Oh,
make
they
the
roll
check.
it,
Yep.
okay.
So yeah, you guys feel the power of his blessing, and it's going to improve your rolls.
So charge.
So we
They got
charge.
1 minute.
Alright, so we charge into the open cave and then encounter the goblins.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you run up into the room and you are immediately confronted with a couple of goblins. But I'm going to first describe what you see in the room, not only the goblins. So I have a slide for that. So you guys are coming up this way here, up a kind of stony walkway, and this is the room that we're entering now. You can see a fire pit in the center of the room, and roasting on it is, you can't really tell what kind of animal it is, but you think it might be a pig. It looks like it's been a little overcooked, this animal. Sitting on a crudely made chair of stone and with his feet up on a crouched goblin. So there's a goblin like crouched over like this, and this guy has his feet up on the goblin's back. You see an incredibly ugly and angry looking figure that you can only assume is Clark. And coming towards you most immediately are 2 goblins. They actually seem pretty surprised to see you guys as they're kind of walking forward, and you guys just kind of catch them surprised. And they both scatter off to the side as soon as they see you. And in the shadowy darkness, they attempt to hide. They actually have skills very similar to that of your rogue. Clark, in the distance, kind of sees the commotion, and he shouts out, "Who goes there?" And Clark seems particularly fixated on one member of the party, which perhaps the audience may have chosen. Okay. And he points out to you, Salazar, and he says, "Who are you and what are you doing in my cave?"
We've come to find our friend. We noticed an accident along the road. We were wondering if you know anything about him.
"It was no accident. My goblins were trained in the ways of slaying horses. You are lucky we did not eat them."
Do you have any idea where our friend went?
"Is your friend the bearded one? The one that looks like him?"
That sounds like an accurate description of our friend.
"Yes, we have taken him." And now he's standing up and he kicks the poor little goblin that was his footrest to the side. "In order to get your friend back, you will deal with Clark. May your head be squished." And he brandishes a large morning star that is crudely made. It's basically a wooden club with spikes coming out of it. And he brandishes it up. And you see from behind his chair, a wolf comes out and is kind of like standing by his side. And you can tell that the wolf is very well trained. And what we're going to do here is roll initiative. So we determine who gets to act in what order. So everybody roll 20 and add your initiative score. That's going to be at the very top of the page, kind of in the top center.
I got 3 minus 1, so 2.
Okay, so I'll call out your character's name and then just tell me what you got. So Welby?
I got 4 + 3, so 7.
7. All right, Althea?
14.
Salzer?
19.
Okay, and Colby?
3 minus 1, 2.
Okay. A true dwarven initiative.
Now, I can't do anything anyway while the bless spell is in action.
If you cast another spell with concentration, you'll lose your concentration, but you can still attack or whatever.
Okay.
If you get attacked, you'll have to make a check to see if you lose your concentration.
Okay.
Okay. Give me 1 second here just to get. Okay. So Clark and Salazar both seem equally prepared and ready for combat. And at 19, they will both begin the action. So Clark is standing up, so we'll let you go first. So off to these sides, there are potentially those goblins that went to hide. You've got Clark kind of in this area with the wolf by his feet. What would you like to do?
Clark, is there something I could trade you for our friend back?
What do you have to offer except your head being squished?
I've got this beautiful set of fine clothes and in a ring that's worth a lot of money.
I do not like fashion. I only like blood. I'll give you a persuasion check to attempt to negotiate with him.
All right. And 14 plus, where's persuasion on it? Plus 4, so 18.
Ooh. Okay. He says, place those items on the ground and step back.
Certainly.
Okay, so you're going to put a fancy ring instead of clothes?
Yes.
Okay. He kind of watches you very carefully, and you step back, and then he says something in Goblin, which you know to mean go retrieve the items. And one of the goblins from in the shadows kind of comes out and then like walks up really quick and grabs the items and runs over to Clark. So Clark is kind of looking at the items here. Well, I'll keep going in initiative order to see if anybody else wants to do anything. So Althea, you're at 14 next. Do you want to just wait and see what happens, or do you want to take some sort of action?
I think I would like to also offer Clark something in return for our friend Endress.
Okay. What sort of thing do you have to offer?
I would like to offer him that delicious drink that he spoke of earlier.
Oh, okay.
A whole wagon full of.
Yes. Okay. So you're gonna tell him that you have a whole wagon full of it?
Oh, I'm gonna tell him that I have a couple of jugs for him.
Okay. So I'd like to see persuasion from you, but I'm gonna give you advantage on the roll. So roll twice and you take the highest. Because he is already persuaded by the clever persuasion of Salazar.
$18.
Okay. So he says, do you really have more of tasty drink?
Yes.
Show me it. So I'm guessing you left it probably back at the wagon.
Yeah.
He says, do you have more? Show me.
It's at the wagon. I'll have to go get it.
Which wagon? Where? We already raided the wagon.
But certainly if you let us see our friend, we could take you to the drink.
He seems, this is very perplexing for him, and he seems very confused as to whether he should trust you. And he says, I will show you him, but he is not awake. And he, again, snaps and yells out a command. And the two goblins walk off kind of this way towards this chimney where there's a few rocks. You can tell this is the top of that hole from earlier. And they come out leading a very groggy and very battered looking Grunger. You have now seen him. let me have the tasty drink.
Only in exchange for our friend.
Bring the drink first.
On it.
We do not negotiate. Seems to be incorrect since he did just negotiate. So you guys want to
Oh.
run back?
I know what I could do. I could send my mage hand to go get it.
Okay, it doesn't go quite as that
Oh,
far.
okay, then I can't do that.
I would say, can we talk to Gundren? So we can say, Gundren, how are you feeling?
Yeah. So he's like very out of it, and he kind of opens his eyes briefly, and he says, "Do not trust them. I am hurt." And you can verify just from looking at him that he's hurt. It looks like he's taken quite a few of these goblin arrows, and while being tough and kind of an elder cousin of yours, you can tell he's pretty battered. They killed my horses and almost killed me. I heard that they were going to bring me to their king, the king of the goblins. And then Clark steps forward and puts his hand over his mouth and actually puts his other hand behind his head and says, "Do not speak anymore, or else I shall squish your head too."
Where am I at compared to these guys?
You're about 15 feet away. So if they're like right here, you're like right over here.
Okay, I want to hit him with my cantrip. What is that flame thing?
Sacred flame.
Yes.
Okay. So he gets
And he's got a
dexterity.
saving throw.
Ooh. So he got 18, so that makes the saving throw. So
I got his attention.
yeah. So having been intolerant of this abuse of his cousin, you see Kobe wing another ball of radiant fire at Clark, and Clark kind of quickly steps out of the way, and he's actually surprisingly quick and dexterous, like a lot more so than you thought he would be for being like a big bruiser guy. And he says, "All right, I see how it is. You have no tasty drink." Ah! And then he charges at you two. And unfortunately,
We roll
I
for
think
initiative?
we'll just use the initiative we already have. But I think the negotiation may have been spoiled. So Clark, this time he will take a swing at you. Actually, we'll just I'll go through Clark and then we'll start kind of back on that same initiative we were at before. So he's gonna do something first. So Clark is going to retaliate, charge at you and retaliate. And he hits a 20 to hit, which I believe hits you. And he,
Armor class, is that right? Is that what I'm going for?
yeah.
18.
All right, and he hits pretty hard here. Woo! Yeah, he hits you for 16 damage with his Morning Star.
Then I'm dead.
Oh, no.
So you're actually just unconscious. But he basically walks up and one hits Colby here. And your head's not squished, but you are down. And he turns and says, "Who would like to more the wrath of Clark?" And we'll continue in initiative order. So let's see. I think next up is going to be Welby.
What are you gonna give him, Welby?
Trying to think something sneaky.
So you would get your sneak attack because he's engaged with them. So if you attacked him, you would get your bonus sneak attack.
I feel like nothing I can, like I'm so little, I don't think like my little short sword or short bow is gonna do much.
Well, the bow you could use at range. You wouldn't have to get close to him.
Would he fit down the chimney?
Well,
Or
Clark,
somehow got pushed down the chimney.
he probably would, yeah. But you're skeptical about your ability to push him. Maybe somebody a little bigger.
Maybe somebody else can. Okay, well, I'll at least try hitting them with my short bow.
Okay.
So I got 6 plus 5, so 11.
Okay. So you shoot at him and he turns and blocks it with his shield and says, "There is another foe that wishes to get his head squished." Okay. Do you want to like move away from him or anything?
I think now I'm like, oops, what did I do? So I'm gonna try to like run and hide or something.
Okay, so yeah, you can move off. You won't be able to hide, or I guess you could try to hide right this turn. So let's see the stealth check. That's one of the rogue things you can do. Unfortunately, Colby is next to act.
So I've got.
Darn it. I want to hit him.
So I do kind of stealth, you said?
Yeah.
So 13.
Okay, so you kind of hide in the shadow and you think you're being stealthy here. You actually hide behind right over here behind a couple of boxes, and you think that you see in among them some stuff that was probably looted from the Gundren caravan. It's just kind of piled up here. In fact, it looks like most of the stuff that's here is pretty obviously stolen. All right, then we are at 2, which is Colby, who unfortunately needs to make a death save. So you just roll a straight 20 for that. So if he fails this 3 times, he's really dead.
20.
Ooh, so 20 actually is a special success. You actually wake up and you have 1 hit point.
Awesome.
Yay.
So you you can act this turn actually. So you open your eyes and you're like laying at Clark's feet, and he's like yelling at Welby, but you open your eyes.
Okay, I'm laying at Clark's feet,
Yeah,
so I can try to hit him.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll hit him. I've got my warhammer in my hand, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
I'll
just
try to hit him.
so you're gonna just stay on the ground and like you can stand up for half of your movement, so you'd be able to just like stand up.
Okay.
So you want to
Okay.
stand
I
up.
mean, he's focused on,
Yeah, he's pointing at where he thinks Welby is, but he's actually Welby's no longer there. But he's all right. Let's see his
All right.
attack.
Eight.
Nope. He's also able to block that with his shield, and he says, "I thought I already knocked you down. Do I need to do it again?" Which is exactly what he will attempt to do on his next turn. Then, from the darkness, some goblins take some shots, 1 at each of you. First at Salazar. Ooh, that is a critical hit from this goblin, who's really got Salazar's number. Ooh, and he hits you for 10 damage as he lands the perfect shot kind of right in your neck where the helmet and the armor part.
All right.
Then the other goblin from the shadows is going to attempt to shoot Althea. Ooh, and this is only an 11. So thanks to your superior magical defense, you're able to just bounce the arrow off of yourself. Then we are back at the top of the round, in which Clark is going to take retaliatory fire against
Good luck,
Colby.
Clark.
Ooh. This time he's only got 11, which doesn't hit you, right?
My armor class is 18.
Okay. So he just swings and he clean misses. And he kind of actually gets a little off balance for a second. And he's just like very focused on you and very angry. "Why don't you hold still so I can squish your head?" Then, also at 19 is Salazar. would you like to do? So Clark's right there if you want to attack him.
I've got my great axe and I'd like to go right for him.
All right, let's see that attack roll.
Okay. And that's a 20.
Yeah, 20 plus you add your great axe bonus.
All right. 13. So 8 plus 5. So it's a 13.
So Clark is quite amazing with this shield, and he again just blocks your blow with this shield. And unfortunately, that does not hit him. So you want to just stay up on him and like try to get him next time around?
I'd like to do it again.
We have to wait till next round for that.
Yeah, I'll stay up on it.
Okay. So then
Just roll.
We're waiting. An 8.
yeah.
8 plus a 5.
Then
Yeah.
at 14 is Althea.
I'd like to hit him with my Ray of Frost.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, let's see an attack, spell attack there.
25.
Oh yeah, that definitely hits him. All right, so roll that D8 for damage. As the frosty bolt explodes in an icy mist on his ugly chest.
4.
All right. And he says, "Oh, we've got another one in the fight." And it's not clear if he really knows that there's a difference between Welby and you, but he's less than that. All right, then we have Welby at 7.
Okay.
So you're hiding in the shadows.
Hiding.
You got a clean shot on Clark or on his poor little wolf. And you think you know where some of these goblins are, but they're trying to hide from you too.
I'm gonna. Go for the wolf. I don't know.
All right, shoot at him.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like we had luck befriending the last wolf.
It's true, yeah.
Like maybe I can
Any
somehow
Uh,
charm
if-
Any more
myself.
beef jerky in there?
If it makes a difference, this wolf has a collar.
Oh, can I like? I'm picturing like riding this wolf.
Yeah, the wolf, like your size is such where you could probably jump on the wolf and ride it. You don't know that it would like that very well, though.
Any other suggestions with the collar? I feel like that's a hint.
Do we have a rope?
Maybe
He does have a rope, yeah.
maybe he wants to be set free.
Well, Clark seems like such a friendly master. Why wouldn't you want to stay with Clark?
So yeah, so should I try to take his collar off, like free him? Maybe I'll attack Clark because he doesn't like him.
So you want to like run up to him and try to take the collar off?
Yeah, I'm hoping he's gonna turn on his master.
That seems like something a halfling would do. A really nice, fun halfling.
Okay, so let's, I want to see an animal handling check. And you notice when you get closer that the collar actually has a small leash on it that's tied to that stone chair.
Oh, okay. So he's stuck to the chair.
Mhm. Okay, so you walk up and you're like, "Here, Wolfie, Wolfie, be nice," and then you just want to take the collar off.
Yeah.
Okay, he kind of darts around a little bit, and then he actually licks your hand, and then he actually runs to where that chimney is and starts like sniffing down the chimney. But he seems appreciative. He kind of more just ignores you than he does anything else, but he doesn't eat you.
Okay, that's good. That's what you're gonna say.
Okay, so that was Welby. Then at 2 is Colby.
So it's my turn. to do
Yeah.
so. Okay, I'll hit him again with my
All right.
warhammer. I haven't hit him yet.
Well, it's that amazing shield that Clark has.
12.
Uh,
Do I have a plus?
yeah,
Plus 4, yeah, 16.
okay. So that does hit him. So let's see some damage out of that
It's
axe.
a die 8, right? I believe that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, 1d8 plus 2.
5 plus 2, 7.
Okay. Yeah, so you get a nice square hit on Clark, and he tries to block with a shield, but this time he's not fast enough. And you get a good square hit on him. And he says, "Why don't you hold still? I'll show you what is a hammer," meaning his morning star. Because Clark's knowledge
He
of
doesn't
weaponry
even
does
know.
not seem very
Yeah.
sophisticated. Okay, so then we're back at the top. So 19 is Salazar.
All right. So I've got my great axe again, and I'd like to attack.
All right, get him.
All right. Come on. 10.
No, that is not going to be good enough to pierce through the crudely made hide armor that Clark is wearing. And he seems to be able to fend off both of you pretty well here. Speaking of, now it is Clark's turn, and this time he wants to deal with Salazar. But unfortunately, he rolls a 6 and again just swings in the air. It seems like perhaps his rage has made him not as good at fighting. All right, then we are at 14, which is Althea.
Okay, I think I'm going to throw my magic missile at him.
Ooh, okay, at Clark. All right, so I need you to roll 3 4-sided dice, which I just happen to have right here.
Beautiful.
And you add 3 to those.
Okay, what?
So,
The one that's upright.
so add up the total and then add 3.
One of the numbers is upright.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the top, the number that's at the top is the
Oh,
one.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So I just get, so there's 3, 3, 3, 7.
Or
Or
yeah,
do you want
I
me to
can't
add
say
up all
for
of
And
very.
then it's plus 3, right?
Yeah, so
Plus
7,
3,
then
10.
plus 3 is 10.
10, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 3 magical bolts of force energy come out of Althea's hands and strike Clark right in the back of kind of his spine, and he tenses up and almost drops his weapon, and it looks like that hurt him pretty bad.
Yes, Althea.
At this point, from the shadows, the goblins emerge, this time with swords that look slightly too large for them, like they have drawn them from the crates that are there. And they charge into the melee fray, including one of them that steps up onto Althea, seeing that attack, and he's going to go for you with his little sword. But he only got 8. So he swings, and again, it strikes against your mage armor. Okay, so then the other one is going to run up into the fray, and he's going to try to strike Coley. Ooh, and this one's got 16. Oh, you have 18 AC, right? Oh, man. So he comes up, and he's like charging right into it, and he goes, "King!" right against your armor, and you don't even really feel it. And it's like right about here in the small of your back, so you're like, where's this at? And it's actually a little goblin. So even though you're not super tall, he just kind of like comes in and hits you right in the back. Okay, then at 7 is Welby, who has
I'm useless.
you're like the resident wolf handler.
Okay, so I let the look, he's looking down the chimney.
Actually, now he seems to be kind of like, woo, down the chimney.
Oh, so he's like calling to his friends?
Yeah, it sounds almost like a distress sort of sound.
Oh.
And you actually hear some return kind of barks down the bottom.
So he's like calling them like there's trouble.
Yeah.
So, but they're tied up. But you said it was a wobbly post.
Yeah. It was. They were kind of stretching it with the chain. Yeah. Actually, from where you're standing, you can still hear them because of the way the sound comes up the chimney. You can hear them like still like going to town on the hardtack.
Well, I think I'm gonna go for one of the goblins. Or
Okay. So there's one on Althea and there's one on Colby.
I will go for the one on Colby.
Okay. And you're shooting at him with your bow.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, do it up. Make an attack roll. This will count as a sneak attack since the enemy is engaged with your ally.
So I got 11 plus 5, so 16.
Yep, that hits him. Since his goblin armor seems pretty poor craftsmanship, you're able to pierce right through the holes in his leather armor. So let's see damage. And you get to roll 2 6-sided dice because of your sneak attack.
Okay. Wait, which one's that? Is that the triangle one?
No, that's like the regular cube.
Oh, okay.
So you get to roll 2 of those, and then you add 3 to that total.
11.
Okay. So this arrow goes clean through the goblin's chest, and he kind of like yelps and drops his sword, and he just like falls face first. And you actually see when he lands on the ground, the arrow pops up in the air for a second as his like chest pops it back out of his back.
Good job.
Nice.
You don't think that you'll be recovering that particular arrow. All right. So then we are at 2 for Colby.
I guess I'll swing again.
All right.
And since that goblin is down, I'm swinging back at, what's his name?
Clark.
Clark. 20.
Ooh, a
There you
natural
go.
20. Critical hit. All right. So you hit, but you get to do twice as many dice of damage. So roll your dice twice. So in other words, 2d8.
4. 6. That's Jesus.
So 10, and then you get a bonus too, right?
Yep, 4 plus 4, right?
Plus, yeah. So what was that total?
It was 6 plus 4, 10.
Okay. It turns out that Clark is not the only one who knows the ways of head squishing. As you bring up your warhammer and just kind of clonk him right in the head, and you see him go ugh, and drop his club to the ground, and Clark falls face first and is no more.
Yes.
Oh.
The remaining goblin, who is on Althea, seeing the destruction of Clark, kind of looks around and yells in Goblin, which you understand, I'm out of here. And he disengages with you and starts to run away out through the way you guys just came.
Because I was gonna use my shocking grasp on him anyway.
Okay, you could take a ranged attack on him if you'd like the Ray of Frost as he's like running away.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
All right,
I'm gonna Ray of Frost him.
poor little goblins.
He's getting away.
You guys have
Somebody's
learned
gonna get away,
D&D very
goblins.
well. There is no mercy.
No mercy.
All right. Let's see the attack on the poor little goblin. Who innocently, he just was trying to stab people.
9.
All right. So yeah, your ray is a little wide of the mark, and he kind of disappears around the bit. And you actually, a moment after you shoot, you hear a splash as he presumably jumps into the water to try to get away. All right. So we we no longer need to act in initiative, but we will kind of resolve what's going on in the scene. So Gundren looks pretty wounded. He's kind of wobbly on his feet, and he actually sits down really hard on a rock. And as he's no longer attended by the goblins. There's also the wolf, who now seems to be peering down the hole. It looks like he's trying to figure out if he can jump down there. So what would you like to do next? So we don't need to act in order anymore. You guys can just tell me.
Well, wolf handler.
Yeah, I think I'm
Well,
gonna
I
follow
think-
the wolf handler.
I think the wolves probably maybe like us since we fed them
Yeah.
and we freed the other one.
Because we need to get Gundren out of there though, right? Because he
Right.
needs help.
Yeah,
So we're gonna have
he's
to-
sitting down. He looks pretty tired and beat up. He's sitting down on the rock, and he actually, as Colby walks up, he says, "I knew you would come to rescue me. I was ambushed by these goblins. Thank you. I don't know if I am well enough to walk." He looks, actually give me
So-
medicine. I'll
We
let
have
you make a
medicine?
medicine check.
Medicine check. Okay.
You can tell that he's got very, very functional.
6 + 5 is 11.
Okay. You think that it's probably not smart for him to try to walk out of here? You think he needs some sort of healing before he'd be able to walk? You can see that he's been hit with a bunch of arrows.
I do have that, heal wounds, right?
Yeah, cure wounds. Yep.
Let me see here. Where is it? Yeah, cure wounds.
Okay.
I have to touch him, and what is it, a die 8?
Oh yeah, it is 1d8, and you add your spellcasting modifier, so that is your wisdom bonus. So 1d8 plus 3, just your wisdom, so plus 3.
Oh, I see, okay. Over here.
So you guys see Colby's hands glow with a kind of healing, radiant light that you think should be harsh on the eyes, but it isn't. It kind of seems pleasant.
That's a 4 + 3, 7.
Okay, and he kind of touches that radiant light into Gundren, and Gundren, you can see actually various puncture marks on his body kind of close up and heal, and he's instantaneously restored. And Gundren says, "Thank you, Colby. Help me stand. I believe I can walk now." And he's able to kind of get up on his feet, and he says, "They have taken my armor and my goods. Look at all of this stuff." And he gestures to the variety of crates and things in the room. "I didn't have all of this with me. This must be from other groups they have raided." And there's a variety of crates of, it looks like all kinds of different things that he's referring to. You can definitely tell that they are not goblin craftsmanship crates. It looks like something that the goblins have taken from elsewhere.
Oh, let's look and see what's in them.
Can we look in, yeah,
Yeah, maybe
So-
that'll help us.
I want to see an investigation check, but we'll do it as a group. So one person roll and roll twice with advantage. So I'll let you guys decide who rolls.
I don't know that you want me to.
So yeah, just delegate somebody to do it.
I'm a
I'm a
wizard.
plus
I'll roll.
0.
All right,
The 20, right?
yeah, do it twice and take the best one.
13. 11.
So 13 was the best one. And then what's your investigation bonus? That's a skip.
Plus 5.
There you go.
Okay, so 18.
That's,
Well,
that's
Okay,
plus.
so you learn multiple things. First is that these crates, like I described earlier, are obviously stolen. You can see that there are several markings that correspond to the Phandalin government. You would guess that they're food supplies, You know that the big town from which you came, Neverwinter, has been sending out food supplies to small settlements such as Phandalin, and it looks like maybe these are stolen supplies from that were intended to go to Phandalin. And actually, if you want to share that information with everybody else.
Mhm.
So when you tell them that, the Gundren is actually aware that the mayor might provide a reward for this. He knows the mayor personally. That's actually who he was going to meet with for the wine shipment, because the wine is his favorite.
And we still have the wine.
Back
in
in the
wagon.
wagon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There is quite a bit here, but you guys think that you can either take a few trips, or you got some better idea, you can get some of this stuff out of here.
Let's have the wolves help us.
Can you like strap it onto the wolves, like the pack mules?
Mhm.
I know what I could do, maybe. Could I use my prestidigitation and make a wolf sound that's like the
Sure.
sounds that they've been making?
Yeah.
And that's my way of maybe communicating with them.
Yeah. Let's
I like that.
All right. I would like to see an intelligence check from you.
Okay,
And this is basically,
because that's such a horrible idea.
well, no. It's to represent how well
Yeah.
you can imitate the wolf language,
Okay.
basically.
Okay. Ooh, well, I'm only, it's +7.
Okay, so you guys hear a sound emanate from Althea. It definitely sounds like a wolf, but Kibbles, the wolf that's up here, kind of turns and looks around, and he's like trying to figure out where that came from. And then he howls back up in the air, and you hear the other wolves down below stop eating something. They all kind of stop for a moment. It seems like maybe they didn't quite pick up what you were laying down. There are some planks that you think you could maybe like put stuff on, and like with ropes could have the wolves drag it if you want to go back down and get those wolves.
Can I use my mage hand to
To
release them?
to like unchain them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably have to go back down there, but then you could do it at range instead of having to like walk right up to them.
Okay.
Is everybody else staying up top, or do you all want to go like supervise and make sure that? it's
I'll go
safe?
down, I guess,
Okay,
with her in case they attack.
and so you guys want to stay up here with Gundren then?
Yeah, kibbles.
Okay. Yeah, so you can easily like, the chain is just like on a post, so you can like lift it up off. You have to do it one by one, but you kind of summon a green spectral hand that floats forward and lifts it off, and kind of, the chain floats in the air for a bit. And then the wolves actually run up to you and start sniffing all around you. And you can tell right away that what they're sniffing is the additional beef jerky in your bag.
Yes. Well,
Um,
I would like to give that to them.
Okay, so yeah, they start like licking your legs and hands, and they're like very excited. And and as you like give it to them, they all like are crowding around your legs and seem super friendly. And you don't think they're much of a threat. They seem like they might be okay.
Thanks for having my back, though.
Now, what might be an additional challenge is getting them to obey what you want them to do. Although the chain is essentially a leash, if you guys want to try to guide them.
I think we should guide them and bring them all the way back upstairs next to Kibble and reunite them with Kibble.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see the two of you both make an animal handling check. And I'll give Althea advantage because of the beef jerky.
Ooh,
Ooh, 21.
Nice.
15.
Okay. So Althea is able to grab two of them, one leash each, and Salazar is able to get the other one. And you're able to lead them up that narrow stairwell back. And as soon as Kibbles sees the other wolves come, he like runs up to them and they all start like, getting together, very excited to see one another. And you get the impression that it's been quite some time since Kibbles has seen his brethren. You can tell from kind of the markings on the wolves that they're probably the same pack. And they are very excited to be reunited with Kibbles. Okay, so the plan is to create a wolf caravan, basically, to
Feel like a dog sled.
okay.
Yeah.
So it seems like going down those stairs is going to be problematic, but maybe if you set that up at the bottom of the stairs, then that wouldn't be as big of a trouble. You guys would have to carry the boxes down the stairs, though, to do that.
Can we drop things down that chimney thing?
Yeah, it's pretty much straight shot down.
We can do that.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that seems better.
Whatever's the most efficient way, yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So the two brawny ones are going to be the ones pushing it down. Is that what we're doing?
Okay,
So let's see some athletics checks out of both of you guys.
okay. 5 athletics, so, oh no, 1 + 5.
I got 7 + 4, 11.
Oh, that didn't work very well.
All right, so
made it
you
on 6 feet.
guys quickly determine that it's going to require the two of you to push one of these.
Okay.
As you both like embarrassingly try to push them along, but then you discover that they're actually stuck under. There's like rocks wedged under them. And then once you kind of discover that the rocks are there, you're able to push them, and the two of you are able to kind of get them forward. You're just going to shove them down the chimney.
Are these crates going to crash when they hit the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Okay, so that's the plan, pushing down the chimney. All right, so you shove the crate down there, and the first one falls, and it crashes with a terrible slam at the bottom. And you see that this crate was mostly full of flour, and when it hits the ground, a giant shoot of flour comes up, and these two are standing by the hole, like looking down at it, and you guys are watching them, and just a big poof of flour comes up and just covers, and it's all over Colby's beard. It looks like only the sack basically just burst open and some of the flour came out. So, I mean, it's not a total loss. It looks like maybe if you want to push more things down the chute, you gotta like move the crate at the base.
Okay. Maybe we don't want to push things.
Maybe we think that.
Yeah.
So maybe while these guys are moving it, you guys just set up the dog sled.
Yeah.
So that's just gonna be basically a plank with dogs attached to it. You don't really have any wheels.
No,
Yeah.
we don't. It's just gonna be like,
But we've got 4 dogs.
right,
It's true.
and 4 chains.
So the dogs, having been reunited with Kibbles, actually seem a lot more docile and friendly. And while they're not super trained, you can tell that Kibbles' training is kind of made him the leader now of the pack. And if you can get him to do what you want, the rest of them will follow. So you guys are just gonna tie him to the plank.
See, do we have him like set up like a dog sled team? Like he's like in the front,
In the front, yeah.
and they're like behind him. So
Yeah, I mean, they all have like collars with the chains attached to them, so you could like chain them together like that.
say we do that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, Kibbles actually seems pretty excited about his newfound leadership. And he's actually very, very friendly with you two. Now, you kind of get that he's got some gratitude for, you having rescued him. Okay, so it takes a bit of time for you guys to continue to load these down. Are you just going to keep pushing stuff down the well, or are you
I
going to
think
try
we
to
should
carry it?
carry them.
Carry them
We're gonna carry them.
Okay,
if we can.
If we can, yeah.
so let's see. We'll do one more shot at the athletics. Let's have both of you roll, and then just whoever gets the highest, I'll use that.
Ooh,
19.
there you go, I'm 16.
Okay, that's pretty good, both of you. All right, so you guys have learned your lesson from the first time around. This is a two-man operation. So it takes a little bit of like human dwarf. One's kind of like this and the other one's kind of like this. But you are able to kind of cooperate, and you think that you can walk down the stairs with it. It's going to take quite some time. You think that it's probably going to take most of the rest of the afternoon to bring these crates down. But you don't see any more goblins around as you start to do that. In fact, you guys are quite certain that the goblins are either hiding or have fled. So do you want to just bring as much as you can today out from here?
I think so.
Do we just go there and tell them where it's at?
Definitely.
Maybe we'll bring like,
Bring what we can.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
say, look, see.
There is on the bag, the broken flower, there's a plank that has the stamp that Althea recognized earlier as being of the government of Finland. So if you want just something to bring back to town to prove,
Mhm.
that's a thing you can do.
We can just
That's a
bring
good
that and then
idea.
we all just
Grab
ride
that
on
plank.
dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dogs
Well,
like
we
Yes.
still have our wagon, right?
Yeah, but it's
So-
back down the trail, but
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
The dog sled actually does seem like a pretty efficient way to traverse the woods. Although all four of you standing on it might not work, but definitely the little guys can ride it. So you guys want to take the dogs with you then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys get back to the wagon, and you are happy to find that as you approach, there is one goblin rooting around through it, but he like sees you at range and just like immediately runs off. And you see he's got his hand in his little tiny hand, what is giant to him bottle of wine, but it looks like he's only getting away with one bottle. And so you guys have reunited with the wagon. You have found evidence of the robbery of the town. You have slayed the evil Clark. His head is the one who was squished. And you have recovered your lost companion, Gundren. Sounds like a pretty successful
Wow.
adventure to me.
Especially as close as we
And
were.
we're all alive.
Good.
Yeah.
We're all
We
together.
survived.
So I think the time has come for our audience to select the most valuable adventurer award. But before we get the audience input, let's hear from the players. I know we have all contributed in a big way. Who is the most valuable adventurer? Does you guys have any nominations?
Well, Colby's the one who took out.
Oh.
I was just gonna say, he took out Clark. That's
We
pretty
took out.
huge.
Well, I was thinking Althea because her magic missiles did a lot of damage.
Uh-huh.
I really like Welby's relationship with the
Yeah.
animals.
Well, Welby's got a big
Probably
future.
a lot more helpful than what you think.
Right?
Yeah, Clark was definitely a call Kibbles and have him be aggressive. But, Kibbles, is kind of under duress working for Clark. All right, so do we have an audience award for the most valuable adventurer? It's a tie between.
Gina and Ryan.
Oh.
All right. Well, we are going to decide this in the only true Dungeons and Dragons fashion, which is a roll-off.
Oh.
So let's see. You both roll a 20-sided die, and the highest roll will receive the coveted
Oh my gosh.
Most Valuable Adventurer Award.
Uh-huh.
Let's see the rolls. This is for all the marbles, so to speak.
20.
Whoa!
20.
Did you get 20?
What if they're both 20s?
You got to do it again.
Yep, a roll.
All right.
I rolled 3 20s today. I've never done that.
Let's see one more roll. That is truly epic. These 27.
Ooh, 6.
5.
All right. So Althea, played by Gina, wins the Most Valuable Adventure Award,
Oh,
the
Yeah.
coveted prize,
thanks.
and we'll fill it out here a little bit.
Okay. Thank you. Great game, you guys.
Yeah.
So did you guys have fun playing? First time playing Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons here?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That
It
was a good
was.
game.
Really fun.
So, you know, the gaming guild here at CCC, we do a lot of Dungeons and Dragons activity. You know, we usually have 3 or 4 groups going at once. This is kind of a taste of what our students like to do in their spare time. So hopefully we've got a few of those students watching today. And hopefully it was fun for everybody to see, you know, some of their teachers and the staff try out D&D for the very first time. I don't know, any closing remarks for anyone?
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
That was
Thank
great.
you very much.
Enjoyed playing
Kelsey.
with all of
You're
you.
a very good dungeon master.
Yeah. thank
Well, we will, you know, maybe in the future, we will have to continue this adventure as you return.
Yeah.
you.
That'll be the next session. So.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank the audience for tuning in today. Hopefully you had a good streaming experience watching the game. It looks like we're kind of right about on time for the end of the stream. So like I said, if you want to try this at home, you can go pick up the starter kit. That's I don't know, 20, 30 bucks, something like that. It's a really good way to get started on the game. And while the material we played today had some of the components of that, there was also a bit of like ad lib and that sort of thing from what the players did. So with that, I think we'll wrap it up tonight. Thanks for everyone for playing, and thanks to CCC for hosting this event. Thanks to the audience for watching. So
And
thanks,
thank you.
everybody.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Good job.